In this question, we are given that Greg assembled units of a certain product at a factory, and each day he is paid $2 per unit for the 40 units that he assembled. So, for number of units, which is equal to 40, the pay is $2 per unit. Then the total payment for $40 will be equal to 40 times 2, which is $80. And he's paid an additional of $2.50 for each additional unit that he assembles that day. So if there are W minus 40 units which are produced, then the rate of payment for each unit is $2.50. Then the total payment will be W minus 40 times 2.50. We are given that if Greg assembled at least 30 units on each of the 2 days. So, on day 1 and day 2, both these days Greg assembled more than 30 units. And he was paid a total of $180. So the final payment that Greg received is equal to $180. What is the greatest possible number of units that he could have assembled on one of the 2 days? We have to find the greatest number of units that Greg could have assembled on one day. Now, to maximize the number of units that Greg assembles one day, we have to minimize the other. So let's minimize the number of units on the day 1 and then maximize the units assembled on day 2. Now let's proceed with the solution in step 2. So if on day 1 the minimum number of units that Greg can assemble can be taken as 30 units, and for each of these 30 units Greg is paid at the rate of $2 per unit. So the amount paid for 30 units to Greg on day 1 will be equal to 2 times 30, which is $60. So the remaining amount out of the 180 that was paid to him is equal to 180 minus $60, which is $120. So this amount of $120 was paid to Greg on the second day. Now using this value, we will calculate the number of units that he could have assembled on one of the 2 days in step 3. So the amount that he was paid on day 2 is equal to $120. Now if he assembled 40 units, then the paid amount that was paid to him for 40 units will be equal to 40 times 2, which is $80. So we know that the number of units that Greg assembled on day 2 was greater than 40, since for 40 units he is being paid $80 and the total amount is still greater than $80. So the amount left is equal to 120 minus 80, which gives us $40. So these $40 were for the additional units in excess of 40 units that was assembled by Greg. Therefore, Greg was given $2.5 for 1 unit. Then for $40, he produces 40 by 2.5, which is equal to 16 units. So the total units produced on day 2 will be equal to 40 plus 16, which is 56. So the correct answer is option C.